Coming up on this episode, I talk about the abundance mindset, how a lot of the time it gets misconstrued, and my own experiences and thoughts on it. So let's get into it. What's going on, beautiful people? This is the Perspective Chasers podcast, and I'm your host, John. On this episode, I want to talk about the abundance mindset. Now, as always, I'm going to try to come at this from a few angles. But the first thing is, I think it's something that is kind of misconstrued a lot of the times and portrayed in certain ways to benefit the people that are talking about it opposed to the people that are receiving the information. There's obviously many aspects to the abundance mindset and having an abundant mindset. But it's never, in my experience anyway, it's never a case of just ask for it and put it out into the universe and you get it back. And that is what's sold to a lot of people, what I see being sold to people a lot of the time. So I'll go into my idea of the abundance mindset, my experiences with the abundance mindset. And I mean, look, I'm welcome to hear anybody else's thoughts and opinions on the mindset and everything else. Again, it's only my experience and my understanding, but hopefully there'll be something that you can gain from this, and hopefully something I can gain from this by trying to explain it. But for me anyway, the abundance mindset isn't about how much you have. It's more about knowing how little you need. And when you realize how little you actually need to get through life, you realize how much abundance there actually is. And I think that's the first domino in the abundance mindset. It's not the fact of just think in abundance and you'll get it. Understand that you already have the abundance. That you don't need all of these things that are sold to you that sell you happiness, sell you health, sell you entertainment, sell you whatever it is. You don't actually need those things to feel abundant. You already have enough. You have the air in your lungs, the beat in your chest, the love around you, friends, family, whatever it is. They're the things that are the true abundance. And when you realize that there's enough for everybody to eat and survive, there's enough resources for everybody to have shelter and survive, there's enough resources for everybody to be clothed and survive, there is enough for everybody. Because we don't need as much as we think we do. People have gone through their lives time and time again without any of the things that we use in our day-to-day life now. But it's sold that you need these things to be happy. Well, happiness has existed for a long time. Far longer than the latest craze, the latest fashion trends, the latest phone, the latest console. So when we've disconnected from that idea of how little we need and how much is actually at our hand, it's easy to think that there is scarcity because things move fast. But you don't need everything that's offered to you. You don't need a lot of these things to survive. And when you realize that, when you realize that you really and truly only need a few simple things in life, and everything else on top of that is abundant, then you start to appreciate it, you enjoy the little things, and then you don't chase the quick gratification, the little wins, or you don't look for the indulgence as quick because you don't feel to indulge, because you don't feel that scarcity. You don't feel that emptiness. So it's easier to build an abundance in the background. And it's a slow process. But when you work from that angle, when you realize that you don't need very much to get through life. And everything else on top of that is gravy. And you don't always want gravy. Sometimes you can go without. And that ties into managing yourself and da-da-da-da-da. But it's something that when you realize that you don't need that much, your idea of abundance changes. Your perception of abundance changes. Because it's no longer a case of, I need X, Y, and Z. It's a case of, I already have X, Y, and Z. What do I really need? And that is something special. And then you've got the flip side of it, which is when you want the grandiose. And it's fine to want the grandiose. And don't get me wrong, there's levels that become greedy. And that's another tangent. But to try to keep it on the tracks, when you want something that is significant, that's fine. But understand that you have to be willing to put in the work for that. It's not going to come for free. We live in a world of equal exchange in one form or another. So if you're not willing to put in the effort to manifest your abundance, to manifest whatever it is you want in life, you won't get it. So understand that it's fine to dream big, but understand that you have to walk the steps to get to that dream. So the bigger you dream, the bigger the effort you're going to have to put in. And that's a burden that you've put on yourself. And that's great. Go for it, dream as big as you can. But then don't begrudge the journey. Understand you chose the journey. If you chose a big dream, then you chose a big struggle. And when you get there, not everybody's going to see the struggle. Not everybody's going to understand. Not everybody's going to understand how you become so abundant. And it's going to be a big arc, a life story. It's not going to be, oh, well, I woke up one day and I was an Olympian, or I was a world-class singer or actor or actress or whatever it is. Like, those things, they don't happen overnight. They happen when somebody's constantly shown up and more than likely failed multiple times, but still showed up, still put in the effort, never got disheartened. So it's not a case of think it or desire it and the universe will provide. By all means, think it and desire it. But then it's time to pay the check. It's time to back it up. By all means, want whatever you want in life. But are you willing to put in the effort to go and get it? That's a completely different thing. So now, to zoom back out to both topics, when you realize that you don't need much to survive, and everything beyond what you need to survive is abundant, and then you can have as much abundance as you want, but it's just a matter of how much effort you're willing to put in, how much you're willing to bring to the table, what you're willing to bring to the table. Everybody's effort is going to look different. Everybody's value that they bring to the table is going to be different. But it's understanding that if you're willing to do that work, there is a massive payoff on the back end. But you have to be willing to pay up front. You have to be willing to put in the effort first and let it pay off later. That's where self-belief comes into it. And that's why manifesting abundance, the abundance mindset, it's not about think it and it be. There's so many more variables to it. So understand that it is a complex thing, but it doesn't mean it's impossible. It starts small, it starts with you. And it starts with you quantifying your levels in life. It's fine to want abundance, But if you don't know what your baseline is, how can you know when abundance starts? And for most people, your baseline is going to be fairly low. Are you fed? Are you washed? Are you clothed? Are you housed? Are you happy? Are you healthy? Literally the basics. Not do you have the latest trainers? Do you have the latest phone or whatever else? Do you have the necessities to survive? Are you okay in the moment? Are you in immediate danger? Like the literal bare things for survival. If you have all of that, then you're good in the moment. Anything beyond that is abundant. And then playing on from there, you can want whatever you want. You can dream as big as you want to dream, but you need to be willing to put in the work to get it. And that doesn't mean that work's going to be easy. You can be the type of person that solves the problems or has the ideas or whatever else, but you might not be the guy that does the legality and this, that, and everything else. So there's going to be a time where for you to keep progressing down the road that you want, you need to get in touch with other people. You need to network. You need to connect with others and branch out and lean on other people for support, for ideas, for insight. There's so many things in when you hit that kind of growth spurt of becoming abundant. There's so many things that kind of tag on and you intersect on your journey of growth that it no longer becomes that solo mission. You kind of, it's a game of the strongest force pulls the most. So once you start going down that abundance mindset and you start treating life like it is abundant, you start treating people the same way. And it's just more positivity in life. You start acting less selfish overall. Little things, and again, it's the little things matter. It's building them out on a piece of paper at a time. It's letting somebody out and then they wave thank you and saying to somebody have a nice day or whatever it is. It's the little things that you wouldn't do if you was in a bad mood, if you was just thinking about yourself, da 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 da. When you start thinking of how much you have and how blessed we all are with life, it's hard to begrudge other people. Don't get me wrong, you still get annoyed, you still meet idiots. I'll always meet idiots. But you start to, the ups are up here, if that makes any sense. So when you have those happy moments, you can enjoy them a little bit more, and you appreciate them more for what they are. And when the negative times come, you accept them for what they are and you let them go a lot quicker. Because you understand things are abundant. Positivity is abundant and negativity is abundant. So it's about where you put your focus. And this is why abundance and the abundance mindset has those multiple aspects. Because there's going to be variables where there is scarcity, but scarcity makes things desirable and valuable and it's needed, and there's going to be so many variables that come into play into what people think is valuable to have an abundance of. Like there are some people that collect cars and there's some people that collect stamps. If you swap their collections over, the other one's not going to see the value in it as much as the original owner did. So we all value things individually. So then we all think of abundance differently. We all treat abundance differently. So understanding what is abundant to you and what ticks your boxes, that's always going to be that first starting point in the mindset to me. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this episode up. The seed for this episode is going to be sit with yourself and ask how much do you actually need to survive and how much have you got? And that can be on any aspect, or if you want to go deep, run it through as many aspects of life as you can. Like How many friends do you really need? How many jobs do you need? How many sources of income do you need? How many houses do you need? How many cars do you need? How many partners do you need? How many children? Whatever it is, what is your base level for survival? And then what is your level of abundance? And then re-ask yourself the question once you've sat through that little exercise and ask yourself, am I abundant? Run through the list and see what you've already reached the milestones of. What things that you've been overlooking that you've already achieved and you've forgotten to celebrate because you're focusing on the next thing. Understand you're now living a life that you probably once daydreamed of. Or if you didn't dream of it, maybe somebody else dreamed of it. But you're still living a life full of potential. So choose how to live it and choose what your life entails. It's your life after all. All the best, and I'll catch you on the next one.